Good morning. It's Vijay here. Today is Thursday, 20th November 2025. Welcome to yet another episode of Pre-Market Commentary. The last couple of days, I've been getting a lot of inquiries after my weekend video, plus the note which I wrote about asking people to be alert as to when will the market crash. Now, I have clearly explained even yesterday that we are 80% invested. Okay, the point to note is we are 80% invested and we have kept the 20% in cash to look for opportunities for the short term. So, for yesterday, we found one such opportunity in KEC International. I'll come back to that little later. But please note, I am not bearish, I'm alert. And my experience of 35 years has shown me that it's impossible to predict a market crash and especially the timing. Now, most people are spending all their time in finding out when it will crash, when it will top out. I have long gone away from that kind of theoretical construct. So I am looking at what is available. How can we make money on the market, especially on the long side, because the long side always helps more than the short side. So let's say if I'm a trader, I would be longs 80% and short 20%. Previously, I would have been long 100%. So my alert to people is that just look at the scenario and pick your longs and pick your shorts. It is not that you can go short in the market just because the market has gone up. Neither can you continue to go long because the market may hit a new high anytime. So I think you need something to be in between. As I mentioned in February when the markets were around 21,500, that the Amrut, this one, what is it called? Brahma Muhurtam is there at that point of time, which means we are just getting into dawn. It's still dark around when everybody was very bearish. Today at 26,000, I am unwilling to believe, not because it is 26,000, but because of the characteristic of the market, which I said that the third force is continuously distributing. Now, when they will stop distributing, we don't know. Right now, yesterday, if you look at it, the FIIs and DIIs both bought. So who sold to them? The third force. Now, how much firepower the third force has got, we don't know. When will the FIIs come in plenty? We don't know. We only can make some, prediction based on the SIPs as far as domestic investment is concerned. So we have very little data to show that market is going to top out tomorrow, next week, next month, or anytime in the near future. But if you put a gun to my head, I would say that it is in the last leg. Now, last leg may last till budget or maybe slightly after budget. So anywhere between now and budget, I would be very, very careful. Say during next 3 months, I would be very, very careful. I will play the market on the strength of the ball. It is, I'm not going to say I'm going to hit out or get out on every delivery. I will play and respect the delivery as and when it comes. So let's see what happened yesterday. Yesterday, the Nifty ended in the green and the Bank Nifty ended in the green after a very volatile moment. Now, the next step is, are we going to get the new high? The Bank Nifty, yesterday also made a all-time high. PSB banks were the leaders there. Then mid cap closed in the green after some time, but in Nifty, small cap and micro cap closed in the red. There were more declines than advances even yesterday, with the 100 point rise in Nifty and about 300-point rise in Bank Nifty. Normally, on such days, you would have expected the advance declines numbers should be in favor of advances, but it was not. So that is what we should be watching as to why it is happening. That is what I said. The structure of the market is changing, and we have to give respect to it. So sectoral indices also showed mixed, um, performance. Then Nifty Bank, as I said, PSU Bank was the best performing. Then you had energy declining. Pharma was slightly neither here nor there. Realty fell for the second session, so one has to be, let's see, watchful there. And as I said, FIs and DIs both bought. FIs bought close to 1600 crores. DIs bought for 1360 crores. Totally 2941 crores was bought by institutions. So the X factor, the third force, sold the 2,940 crores. So what happened globally? Yesterday, global markets were on tenterhooks. They had a lot of hope on Nvidia's results, which came after the market. So there was, during the market time, the European markets were up for most of the time, but somewhere along the line they closed almost in the negative. DAX closed almost in the negative. CAC and FTSE closed in the negative. Now, US stocks were very volatile because the US Fed meeting minutes came, and there was, number of people, number of the Fed presidents. There are 12 people, so number of them wanted a rate cut in December, and number of them also did not want. So there, it is not a unanimous decision to have a rate cut in December. So the market panicked and it fell, but then later it recovered, waiting for Nvidia results because Nvidia is having, I think, about 7% of the S&P 500. So everybody thought that the results would be good, which was expected. I had mentioned it yesterday. But what will be the reaction? We didn't know. So they have anticipated, and today the results have come. They are good. And Nvidia head says there is no bubble. Clearly, whether it's bubble, not bubble, the kind of machinations which these guys are doing are bad. This was seen in 2000 when Cisco did similar thing. The Nasdaq topped out in March. Cisco topped out in somewhere in April, so I think May, June of 2000. So the game of Cisco went on. So here too, we may have such a thing where the markets may top, but Nvidia and a few companies may continue to go up because there is a lot of stake in companies like Nvidia. They are not likely to simply crash, and markets need not crash for us to lose money. Markets can go down steadily for us to lose money. So one has to be very careful instead of looking at something like a crash. So gold was up through the day, but then heavy selling in both gold and silver brought it down. Heavy volatility at 4,000 levels for gold and silver at 50 rupees, $50 for silver, 50 to 51. It went to 52, came down to 50.40. Now it's 50.7. What is important is in the as far as silver is concerned, in 1980, silver went up above $50 just for a few hours. In 2011, when it reached again that same level, it went up for 3 days. Today, we are seeing $50 as a good support. People panic when it comes to $50. It is trading between 50 and 54. So, for many days, it has been trading above $50. So, you can see clearly the strength of silver today is different from what it was in 2011 and in 1980. We are heavily into silver and gold, as I've been saying for the last 2 years, and we will continue to hold them for higher numbers. And also, it is a safe, asset class. Crude oil, there was some talk, some rumor of Trump having told Ukraine leaders that they have to sign an agreement with Russia on Russia's terms. So that is why crude came down as low as 63 to 65 just a couple of days ago. And if the agreement comes through, then crude will fall below 60. So refineries in India will benefit, Indian economy will benefit. So Indian stock market also will benefit to that extent. So what are the stocks to watch today? Adani Enterprises, they were the successful bidder for Jai Prakash Associates. So that may be under, and they may be focus. NBCC, they won a big contract of 2,966 crores for Naveen Nagpur Phase 1. Then Tenneco, Clean Air, recent IPO, got a Goldman Sachs upgrade and they bought 21 lakh shares. So that is also going to be in focus. Naveen Florin, they got some, the management says the visibility of 100 million revenue from CDMO. So pharma also is slowly picking up, though it has not reached anywhere close to the strength which we've seen last year. But companies like Naveen Florin may do well. Nesco has got it. They have gone to highway amenities. That may be interesting. JP Morgan has initiated overweight on LG Electronics, which came with poor results. So that may be in focus. JP Morgan is expecting a 15% upside. And Sammaan Capital, which, there's a lot of confusion in the Supreme Court that, Supreme Court talked about why are the central agencies going lax on Sammaan Capital's promoters. The original promoters is no longer there. He left the company. So Sammaan Capital is a new company at this point of time, but it has got that legacy issues. However, there order passed for an FIR or something against, or any action to be taken against Sammaan Capital. It was more against the previous promoter who has since left 2 years ago. So that is Sammaan, but then it fell down around, I think, more than 10%, nearly 15%. NTPC Green may do well. Mahindra and Mahindra, because I think they got some pact with some Singareni collieries. And Mahindra Holidays also, they are getting further into, they are putting 2,000 more keys, and that may, by FY30 actually. So it may take some time. Pine Labs, which has been recently listed, in my opinion, it's highly overvalued, and MK has instituted a reduced rating on it. CG Power has got a IT, assessment order against it for 365 crores. CG Power is a small company, 365 crores is a big amount. That is where I think there may be some issues. Now, for the day, your block deal will come through JK Tires, about 140 crores from Cavendish, which is a FPI, the hedge fund. They are putting in, they are selling 140 crores, 130 crores worth of shares. Uh, so then finally, as I mentioned, Nvidia has lit a fire into the market in US. The global, US markets are up significantly, both Nasdaq, S&P, and to some extent Dow. Here in Asia, the central bankers in Asia, one of them said there is no problem. So the Nikkei went up by 2,000 points at one point of time. Now it is about 1,400 points. In fact, Nikkei is Japan is very, very fragile, with the stock market going up significantly. The JPY, US dollar ratio, have weakened the JPY significantly. I think it is probably one of those really, I think maybe all time high, all time low as far as JPY US dollar is concerned at 157 half. The Japanese 10-year, 30-year, 40-year yields have gone through the roof, and Japan typically stupidly are thinking of putting more money into the system and stimulus that may benefit for some time everyone around the globe, but that is likely to create havoc when the carry trade reverses, because carry trade money has gone into other asset classes globally, because the interest rates in Japan were very low. They were zero for a long time. Now they have gone up significantly. So one of these days it'll reverse. We don't know again when. That is why we have to be alert. So I am alert. We are, of course, looking for bargains. Like as I said, KEC International, for instance, yesterday there was this Power Grid, which said that they will disqualify KEC for 9 months. Now, if you look at what orders KEC has got, they got a 1,500 crore order with this institution, Power Grid, and out of that 750 crore already done, only 750 crore is affected. Now, if you look at what is the turnover on an annual basis for KEC, it's about 23 to 24,000 crores. So 750 crores losing is just less than 3%. And that too, there is some negotiation going on. And finally, they said we will take legal action. In my opinion, based on pure fundamentals, this price has come down significantly. The 52-week high was 1,300. We bought it yesterday at around 701. We intend to hold this stock and see where it will take us. Similarly, we bought City Union Bank yesterday. We added to our position because suddenly it fell 5%. So wherever we get such bargains, we are interested in buying in the 20% cash which you have generated. Now already out of that, nearly 10% is gone. Now only 10% is left. So we'll again look for some bargains, maybe even in Samman Capital today, to look at bargain and see whether we can do some bargain buying there. Because in my opinion, I don't think Samman Capital particularly will get affected, but there could be that cloud. There is nothing in Samman Capital for them to fear. Their management knows it. Supreme Court has not said so. They're on specifically on Samman Capital. So we will look at some, such bargains when we see it. So I would like to reiterate: I'm alert. It doesn't mean I'm bearish. I'm not sure when the markets will peak out, from where the selling will come, or whether the selling will come as 1 day to 1 week crash, or will it be spread over many weeks. So whatever you do, I hope it is successful. Thank you for joining me.